One of them is representing this. If somebody has any symbol of being spiritual, then even if he threatens your life, you don't defend yourself to that extent. Even if people didn't have food to eat for themselves or their children, if they saw a person on the spiritual path, they first offered to him because they felt he's putting his life to better use than ourselves. So when you talk about those boons and curses, they're talking about that kind of influence. Somebody who's invested a lot to generate this kind of energy within himself says something and that thing just happens to you because your whole mind gets wrapped around that little seed that is thrown into you.
If you're using me as an entertainment, you'll be sorry. If you use me as a possibility, you're blessed. Blessing is not a good thing, nor is it a bad thing. Especially when it comes from me, it comes in so many ways that you will not imagine.
The 7 months in many ways was structured to break the familiar and step into the unfamiliar willingly. Well, some of you very willingly, some of you little pushing and some of you hard pushing, but you've done wonderful. It's been wonderful to have you here. A whole lot of people are saying sadhana-pada people are really wonderful. That's nice. Because when you are on this path, it's very important that everything and everybody should bless you. If you walk on the ground, the earth should bless you, may this being grow, because you will need everything. If you want to hit your ultimate peak, you will need everything that you can get, every kind of support that you can get from anywhere. So it's very important that everybody should bless you, everything should bless you. If you go and sit under a tree, the tree should bless you. There is a way to live like this, that is what sadhana is. That's what sadhana is about, to become so much in tune, whether it's an animal or a bird or a tree or a blade of grass, it all feels close to you from their end, not from your end. And they kind of do the best they can do for you. Some people will say, this is all rubbish, there is no science like this. They think science happen in laboratory. Science is happening in creation. You noticed a few things, that's all. Nobody has noticed everything. You just noticed a few things and you call that science. But it's happening, the phenomena of life is happening, not in the lab, in the world, in the cosmos. So, to create a conducive atmosphere was the main focus of this culture always, that a spiritual person means immediately, he's supported in this culture. Like you have seen some of the panels in the Janalinga, you've seen those panels of the sages and siddhars of Tamil Nadu. One of them is representing this. If somebody has any symbol of being spiritual, then even if he threatens your life, you don't defend yourself to that extent. Even if people didn't have food to eat for themselves or their children, if they saw a person on the spiritual path, they first offered to him because they felt he's putting his life to better use than ourselves. That kind of atmosphere we need to create in the culture. It is not that today we have to go, we have to depend on people for food, we have other ways of doing things. I was at the economic forum, so everybody's busy meeting to meeting, we're all running from meeting to meeting, it's like 5 days of madness. But everywhere there are a few coffee counters and like snack kind of breakfast counters, which is all kept there, people can go pick it up and eat anytime because there's no time to go for lunch, dinner, anything, we're just on throughout the day. I see I'm not making a statement on… a racist statement on anybody, but I was just observing. Most people just come like this, all suited booted people, they come like this and they pick up what they want. They don't like it, they just leave it there, put in the bin, walk away. Indian people, little standing back and slowly going. The Japanese people, all, top executives and things like that, these are not somebody who do not know how to move around. They come, the counter is about 5 feet away. When they come there, they pick it like this, bending down. I just observed repeatedly, I thought, this is fantastic, that they're not even receiving it from somebody, it is just kept there. But to pick up the food, there is a certain gratitude and devotion towards it. They're bending down and walking the last few steps. In a totally corporate atmosphere, I'm saying, everybody's in suits and boots and everything, all right? They just… every one of them, nobody's… they're not even conscious, they're just doing it. I repeatedly sit there and observe. Whenever a Japanese person comes to pick up something, they'll bend down, go there and pick up like this. I thought, this is what we need, that we have some sense of gratitude towards the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the food that we eat, and every other human being and every other creature on this planet in some way assisting our life. Every moment. Hello? You couldn't exist. You're not existing because of your own silly intelligence. Yes, you're existing because the whole thing is working for you all the time. So, one important part of sadhana is this, that you become like nothing. If you can't become nothing, at least become smaller than everybody else in the universe. Hello? It's very important. When your personality becomes small, your presence becomes very big. And that's what we need in this world. We need human beings who have a large presence, not people who have a large personality and nobody can bear with them. Tyrants. Too many tyrants. If I say a tyrant, you think of a Benito Mussolini or Adolf Hitler. No, no, no. Tyrants are everywhere. They are in the form of parents, they are in the form of teachers, they are in the form of… they're all over the place. Fortunately, they're not as capable as those two that I mentioned. Only their incompetence we're appreciating. But they are tyrants. So, one important thing for growth is this, do not understand growth as like this. Growth is to become like thin air, that your presence is strong, but your personality is like nothing. Do you fit into anything? This is very important. The flexibility, at least the body we've made it a little flexible. The last few months, have they bent you, broken you a little bit? Some bones I think we have to break still. It's not just physical flexibility, it's as a life you're flexible. If you want to do something in this world, you must be able to fit into any situation and transform that. If you don't fit in, you cannot transform. That's what it is. So, now that 7 months are over and time to go home or whatever, I hope you still have a home. No, no, I've lived long enough. In 7 months, a lot of things can change. Lot of things can change. Who knows? So wherever you go, sadhana must continue, okay? Sadhana is not something that you remember, oh, we did sadhana pada, very wonderful. That's not it. Sadhana must continue. You must see how to use the tools to build yourself into a truly spectacular human being. I want to see that happening. We were just talking about this, she talked about mentalist. Your question is related to that in a way. Now, in my mind, I just create a thought that something should happen to you, something good or bad. Well, it may happen, it may not happen. If you are very receptive to me, it may. If I say something, if you take it very seriously, you may change things. But if I invest my emotion in my thought, I will make sure the thought gets across to you in a very big way. Then the chances are more that it may happen to you. It is not even that it is necessarily happening only because of my thought and emotion, it's just that my thought and emotion will create a whole bunch of thoughts in your mind, which is now modern science is called as neuroplasticity. That because of a powerful thought and emotion that I threw at you, now you get enslaved to that and your whole psyche is around that thought and emotion. Sadhguru said this, and you're going crazy about that. And your entire brain will take shape in that way. It is no more mythology. Modern neurology is talking about, neurosciences are talking about it. So you will manifest that, good or bad. Now if I invest my life energies behind it, even if I don't tell you what is my thought, still I can change the neuroplasticity of who you are. It's possible to do that. So when you talk about those boons and curses, they're talking about that kind of influence. Somebody who's invested a lot to generate this kind of energy within himself says something and that thing just happens to you because your whole mind gets wrapped around that little seed that is thrown into you. So this is why even even to teach a simple form of spiritual process, even to teach a very basic form of meditativeness, when you come to us, we will not do it unless you take a larger identity, that you become all-inclusive in some way. If you are not all-inclusive and you become powerful in your mind, you are a dangerous character. It's just like somebody who is not in some way responsible for the world has a nuclear bomb in his hand, he will inevitably cause damage, isn't it? So this is why meditations and spiritual processes, before they're being taught, a certain amount of making your identity much larger than your individual identity, so that you become all-inclusive before you become meditative, is always taken care of. In spite of that, there could be a Vishwamitra being born, what can we do? No, okay, that part of it. It doesn't matter how powerful I am and what I do, you can develop your own sense of integrity about the nature of who you are. If you have done enough work upon yourself, you will determine, nobody else can determine. Because if you are just on the level of your mind, I can take over. But if you have touched your deeper dimensions of intelligence, if you have become conscious in some way, no, you cannot be influenced. So that is why it's very important to be conscious. Conscious means that a dimension beyond your physiological and psychological structure has become a living reality for you. If this has happened to you, you can walk into hell, no problem. It will not influence you.
Just now, one of the participants came up to me, and when I was just blessing the Rudraksh, she came and asked me, what is the blessing? What are the thoughts you have? So, see, me saying or anybody saying, all the best for you, is not a blessing, it's just a wish. Wish is just a hope. It's not substantiated by anything. You wish something good for yourself or you wish something good for somebody, it is just a nice thought. A blessing is not a thought. A blessing is not an emotion. A blessing is a piece of energy. If you if you made yourself fluid enough that you're not a burnt pot, you just lose, then you can take a little bit of that and give. If you're a properly burnt pot, you can't take anything out of it because it's crystallized. So, blessing is not a good thing, nor is it a bad thing. It's just something that hastens you. It's like gas. Gas in the car. Oh, not you. I meant gasoline. If you put gasoline into the tank, you can move. If you're pushing your car and going, you know, how far is your home? The long, long way, isn't it? You got gas in the tank, you're there in no time, isn't it? Whatever the distance, it's no big deal. So blessing is like gas in the tank. It's not a wish, it's not a thought, it's not an emotion. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just gasoline. If you want a moving car, but if you're somebody who enjoys a parked car, because moving car is dangerous, it could crash. Moving car can be dangerous, isn't it? Parked car is definitely far more safe. Yes or no? So a lot of people have chosen to live in a parked car. Morning of course becomes afternoon, and afternoon of course becomes evening, and evening of course becomes night. Fall becomes winter, winter becomes spring, spring becomes summer, and autumn again. It looks like you're going somewhere, so much change of scenery. It's exciting enough. But if you're little learning that to go a certain distance you're willing to risk your life, then you drive a car. You want a driving car, a moving car, isn't it? Parked car is a damn safe car. It's good. You can very well live there. There's no problem. It's just that you don't go anywhere, that's all. If you have no intention of going anywhere, you want just a safe place to live, a parked car is a good place, isn't it? But now you want to go somewhere. There are drunken drivers on the street but still you want to go somewhere. Now you need gas. So blessing is gasoline, it's a piece of energy. It's not good wishes.
Every damn thing that any man can see, I have seen.
When you transcend certain limitations and you go into another area of life, there are other kinds of forces which will try to stop you. That is my business.
If you're using me as an entertainment, you'll be sorry. If you use me as a possibility, you're blessed.
Blessing is not a good thing, nor is it a bad thing. Especially when it comes from me, it comes in so many ways that you will not imagine.
If you've truly given yourself for one moment, I'll see you through, that's for sure.